Big question about what you're going to pay for power at your residence, how that power is generated. To talk about that, the chairman of the Arizona Corporation Commission, Kevin Thompson. Thanks for doing this.
Thank you, Mike, for inviting me.
Let's start with APS. APS has recently requested a 14% rate hike to recover expenditures. How do they come to that number, and how do you verify that number?
Well, that's money that they've already spent. They spent it probably a year or 2 years ago, so they're looking at their historic costs. And our judges, we have ALJs, so our judges will litigate their increase. So we'll have staff go through the numbers, our judges will go through the numbers, interveners will go through the numbers, and they'll come back with their percentage. So everybody will, APS is obviously at 14%, your residential utility consumer advocate will come back with a percentage, our staff will come back with a percentage, and we'll find something in between.
So to make sure that they can recover their costs, but at the same time, it's the least burden on the ratepayers.
100%. So that's what we're after. So we'll take a scalpel to it, we'll carve into their ask, and we'll come back with what we think is just and reasonable.
What's the time frame generally for something like that?
Anywhere from 12 to 18 months typically, so it's going to be a year and a half getting this done.
And so they say that the soonest that this would be implemented would be late 2026. Is that a realistic time period? If something is to increase, will be then?
I'm guessing probably around November, December. If they don't have issues, if there's issues, it could be pushed into 27.
So the Cholla plant, the coal plant, they're talking about now putting that back online, but the price tag seems to be pretty high, $1.9 billion to get it into compliance. Is that the most cost-effective way to provide power to get that plant back online?
This commission doesn't think so. $1.9 billion, that would be put on the backs of APS ratepayers. Same thing I told the White House. I can't take $1.9 billion and put it on the backs of 1.4 million people. That's the number of APS customers. It would increase their rates tremendously doing that.
So what are the other options?
APS has said they're going to keep the property and maintain the property and all the transmission lines, all the infrastructure, so that we can potentially put SMRs, the small modular reactors out there. They've already invested. This was something that had been looked at since 2016, an agreement between the Obama-era EPA and the utilities to make sure that they avoided lawsuits. So over that last 10 years or so, they've been moving slowly towards the closure of the plant. So they've already put infrastructure in place, generation in place to replace the megawatts that they're losing.
Since you brought up the SMRs, and I'm not asking you to be a power company expert, but the idea that having these small modular reactors, because the immense growth that's happening in Arizona, that seems like a great benefit. But aren't those over a decade down the road?
Well, we originally thought so, but now that you have the data centers, the large users like Amazon and Meta and Microsoft and others, they're starting to invest in the SMRs because they see the need for that power. And so, money is in research is speed to market. And so what we thought was about 10 years out could be between 3 and 6.
And that's based on market-driven need.
Right.
So if we can get something like that going, that may solve a lot of problems in different areas as well.
It will solve a lot of problems. Yes, absolutely.
All right, well, I appreciate the time. It's always a good conversation to hear. We hear a lot about the Corporation Commission. I don't think a lot of people understand the power that you have, for lack of a better word, but I'm glad you came and explained some of this because I know people are concerned about the rates.
Yeah, me too.
All right, I know you're concerned about it. There'll be answers coming down the road, and this is going to be a big part of those answers. Stick around.